One of the projects that we worked on was a new welding and woodworking workshop at Sikave. And this is like probably, 6 or 7 times the size of the existing workshop that they have. And so it talks about here 100 quetzal, or quetzales, is the Guatemalan unit of currency. And it's about $14 for students to attend a pretty significant course. And then the rest is subsidized by donors, or the kids work it off. So that was half of our group. We split into 2 groups, and that was our work crew on the day that I worked at the facility. So these are the things that we did at that facility. We hauled cinder blocks, and we used pickaxes, and we shoveled dirt and rocks, and we pounded and flattened out and leveled the dirt for the foundation to be poured in. We filled up holes, and we cleaned up the work site. And there you can see the 2 Guatemalan police that are there. You can see them in the front row. And then those 4 guys on the right are actually the ones who are building that facility. That's their job right now, just to build that facility. So the work that we provided was really, really beneficial to them, considering there's only 4 of them doing it. The bridge was another project that Doterra and Choice have worked together to help the community with. You can see the arrow is pointing way down to where the bridge is. And once we got to the bridge and we walked across the bridge, this is the other project that I was talking about. This was built by the local community. Doterra provided obviously materials and some funds, but the people built this bridge. And when we arrived and got to the bridge, the mayor of this tiny little community showed up to express his gratitude and spoke to us about the value that this bridge provides their community. It allows kids. Now the kids, this was on part of our hike. We hiked in an hour and a half to the school facility, and this is the hike that the kids do. Most of the kids, they walk 45 minutes to an hour and a half every day to go to school. And this is the bridge that the cardamom, the people who harvest the cardamom, they will put 100-pound bags of cardamom on their shoulders, and they'll do that same hike that we did and walk across this bridge. This is the same bridge that gives the people up in the hills and in these communities access to health care when they need it. So this bridge saves lives, because at times when in the rainy season, when the water is too high, kids couldn't go to school, or kids died trying to cross the water, or people died trying to cross the water to get to health care. This is an incredible, as simple as it seems, is a lifesaver to a lot of the people up in the community. Sunkok is the name of the community where we were staying and where we served. That bridge was part of the Sunkok community. This is a picture of the bus, the little bus that we took, one of 2 buses that we took into the community. And you can see a little bit on the map. There's Guatemala City toward the bottom, and then we drove a ways up into the mountains. The views were unbelievable, absolutely amazing the entire way. So on the left, that arrow is pointing to one of 2 school buildings. So this is where we had to hike. This was the hour and a half muddy, treacherous hike. We made it to the school, and we were divided into smaller groups, and each one of the groups worked with a different age group within the school. And the kids all speak Quechua, which is their native tongue, but they're being taught Spanish and English. So anytime when we were in this community, the locals would speak in Quechua, and then Quechua would be translated into Spanish, and then the Spanish would be translated into English. So it was a significant process just to communicate with a lot of the people in the community. Thankfully, the teachers of this school speak Spanish, so we were able to get information from them with only 1 translation instead of 2. But they speak Quechua as well. This is on the right. This is a typical classroom. They obviously have dirt floors, but they had desks and chairs, which were pretty amazing. The board, obviously the boarded walls, open air, corrugated metal ceilings. And while we were there for lunch, we went into a classroom for lunch because a torrential downpour happened. And we couldn't hear each other talk because it was so loud on those metal roofs. And they said that it's often they have to just wait for the storm to pass before they can continue teaching. So all the ages, preschool through 6th grade, were all at this one site. And because it's a significant hike to get into school every day, a lot of the moms were there. Just the moms go and they do the hike with them, and they stick around for the day, and then they all come back. But these kids, we were slipping and sliding and had big, walking sticks, and we were a mess. We were all over the place. We were needing a lot of help to do this hike and helping each other. And these kids were like little mountain goats. They were in like flip-flops and Crocs and little rubber boots, and they were just lapping us up and down on the trail. So you can tell that this was we called it just another Tuesday for them. Like, this was a big, massive undertaking for us, but this was just another Tuesday for these people.
That's awesome.
And as I said, isn't that amazing? And just the same hike that we were struggling with, that is the 100-pound bags of cardamom. This is the men do this on a regular basis, twice a week, actually. Tuesdays and Fridays are when cardamom is purchased in the community. So they do that twice a week. They do that hike. And if they don't do that hike, and before that bridge was there, they couldn't cross, the cardamom isn't sold. A lot of locals came out and kind of helped us through the hike as well. You can see some of the muddy feet here in this picture. There's another classroom, me with some of the kids at the school. And then to the left, this is what you would see a lot of the moms doing, because a lot of the moms were wanting to learn as well. So the moms were getting an education through the cracks of the walls of the classrooms. And that was a really beautiful thing to see. In that woman, this pouch that she has on her back is a baby. There was a baby sleeping in that pouch. They do this hike with their children and with babies on their backs, and they find a way to get education as well through the cracks of the classroom walls. That was a really touching thing for me to see as well. In that community, we grabbed the moms, the women, and the older girls, and we did a Days for Girls training. This woman on the left, who is holding up the underwear, she is the entire community's doctor. There is a hospital facility that was also built by choice of Doterra in the area, and she is the doctor. She doesn't have a nurse. She doesn't have a staff. She has her. That's it. And so she is called on a regular basis to care for people. She's on call 24/7. And she was young. She was, I'm guessing, in her 20s, late 20s at the most. But she was a true savior to these people. And we left her with an every oil kit and in her own bag and lots of resources. And we basically did a class with her so that she could learn how to use the oils. So in this part, she's holding up, I love this picture because it was a memory, she's holding up a pair of underwear. First time that the women in this community learned what underwear are. Wow. They don't use them. They don't know what they are. And so when we were showing them underwear made them all giggly. And because they had no idea they're like, what do you do with that? What is that for? And so we needed to show them that part to show them how to utilize their reusable feminine hygiene kits. And one thing that was really touching to me that we learned, they said that just providing underwear to women provides a barrier and reduces the incidence of rape. So that in itself was pretty amazing. Then we provide them, you can see some of the women with their reusable hygiene kits, their Days for Girls kits that we left them with. And of course, that training was full of giggles and questions and concepts that they had never even heard of. A lot of them had no idea what their monthly cycle meant and why it happened. And we had the opportunity to share that with them. I was holding the baby of one of the women while she was kind of participating in the class, and the baby doesn't wear diapers. Like they don't have diapers. The women, we asked the women, like, what do you use when you have your cycle? What do you do if you don't have these types of products? And they said, oh, we just find some cloth. We just find a piece of cloth and we kind of tie it this way or that way, and we make it work. So that was really eye-opening for me, and it was a privilege to be a part of the Days for Girls experience and that training. And while we were doing that, all the men left the school and went to a different area and played soccer with some of the local kids. And they played soccer in the mud and were slipping and sliding and falling in cow manure and playing soccer with these kids that as soon as they heard there was a soccer game going on, ran home and showed up in like a soccer jersey and some cleats that were like their prized possessions and came out and played soccer. And the goal was just a log and then 2 logs. And on the other side of the goal was like a drop off, was like the edge of the mountain, like a big steep hill. And so anytime someone scored a goal, one of the local kids would have to run down the side of the mountain to go get the ball and bring it back up. So, and we had that same experience. We had another soccer game closer to Sika Bay later in the week, and it was the same thing. So it was pretty amazing. But that's where the men went to handle things over there and to play with the kids.